Breaking news. WNBA free agency is starting to heat up as Satou Sabally finally breaks her silence and confirms she's played her final game for Dallas. The WNBA star is now eyeing her next move, and it's definitely going to change the landscape of women's basketball. Two teams are in the running, but one has a secret weapon that could change everything. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for free agency. I'm able to talk to a lot of players outside the league because I have not played on a different team yet. And I'm excited to get to know them more on a personal level, but also knowing how they approach the game. And I just love having basketball conversations and high-level IQ conversations about the game to know where I will fit best in the future. Is it the defending champion New York Liberty? Or could Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever pull off the biggest acquisition of the offseason? We've got exclusive details on how the Indiana Fever could land Sabally, and why it makes more sense than you might think. Get ready for a deep dive into the move that could create the WNBA's next dynasty. Are you ready? Let's go. Then? Yeah, you're just falling up there, I guess, because you said it's out to you. What was Dallas's reaction when you communicated that to them? Obviously, at first they were still trying, but I think what is most effective is working with the player and listening to their wishes, figuring out how we can find the best solution for each other. Picture this. Satou Sabally, the star forward of the Dallas Wings, just dropped a bombshell that's shaking up the entire WNBA. Are you ready for this? Sabally announced she's played her last game for Dallas. But why now? What's behind this sudden move? Though there was always great communication, more so on the agent front now, because I need to focus on Unrivaled, and I will. So I'm trusting the people that I have on my staff and the front office with office to solve that further. So I have good communication with them. The Wings were building something special. They had Sabally, REK, and the first overall pick of the 2025 WNBA draft, presumably Paige Beckers, or possibly Olivia Miles. Now it's all falling apart. Let's break down Sabally's time in Dallas. For 5 seasons, she's been a force to be reckoned with, averaging an impressive 15.7 points, 7 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game. But injuries have been a thorn in her side, with only one season where she played more than 20 games. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Despite missing the first half of the 2024 season with a shoulder injury, Sabally came back with a vengeance. She put up career-high numbers, averaging 17.9 points and shooting a blistering 45.2% from beyond the arc. Talk about making a statement. But Sabally didn't just say she's leaving. She said she's working with Dallas to find her next home. With Dallas likely to core her, the Wings will make sure they get something in return. Let's dig deeper. There's been whispers of tension between Sabally and the Wings organization. She's been playing on one-year deals, never committing long-term. Her last contract, a cool $195,000 for a single season. That's a lot of cash, but for a player of Sabally's caliber, it might not be enough. So Satou Sabally has officially said that she is gone. She is not coming back to the Dallas Wings, which I thought was interesting, because I did think that with Satou, with her Paige Beck is likely going to go to the Wings. With Satou, with Enrique Gumbawale, they could have been a really good team, and the plot thickens. The Wings are in the middle of a major shakeup. They have a new GM, a new coach, and they're facing the potential loss of other key players in free agency. It's like a perfect storm of change in Dallas. Sabally's departure isn't just about her. It's a game changer for the entire league. Teams are scrambling, trying to figure out how to land this star player. 2 teams are emerging as frontrunners. Let's first talk about the team where Satou has a lot of personal connections. Then we'll talk about the team likely to land her family ties, college connections, and a championship pedigree. The New York Liberty and Satou Sabally seem like a dream fit, but sometimes dreams come with a hefty price tag. Are the Liberty about to face their toughest opponent yet? The salary cap. Let's paint a picture of what the Liberty bring to the table. They're not just good, they're the reigning WNBA champions. Imagine stepping onto the court alongside Jonquel Jones, Sabrina Ionescu, and Breanna Stewart. That's a lineup that makes opponents lose sleep at night. And for Sabally, it's not just about the star power. It's personal. Would you want to play with your sister? Here. Yeah, of course, in the future I would love that. Picture this. Satou suiting up next to her sister, Nyara Sabally, who's already wearing Liberty colors. That's a family reunion on the hardwood. And let's not forget about Sabrina Ionescu, Satou's college teammate from their Oregon days. The chemistry, it's already there, just waiting to be rekindled. Then, The best trade package is the Liberty. I still think that would be our preference because New York is still New York. Yes, it's not the Indiana Fever, but it's still New York. She's playing with Sabrina. She has to play with her sister. She plays with Phoebe, who plays with the German national team. And it's as good as guaranteed a championship. It would break the league, to be completely honest. But here's where it gets tricky. The Liberty's roster is like a luxury sports car. Sleek, powerful, and incredibly expensive. They've got 3 max players eating up a huge chunk of their salary cap. Jones, Ionescu, and Stewart are all max contract players. Adding Sabally to that mix, it's nearly impossible. So what's the game plan? Could we see some creative contract magic? Maybe Stewart, who's a free agent but has said she's coming back, takes a pay cut, or does Sabally agree to a smaller paycheck for a shot at a ring? Let's say they figure out the money. There's still another catch. The Liberty's forward rotation is already stacked. If Sabally joins, she might find herself fighting for minutes and opportunities at touching the ball. It's a far cry from her star role in Dallas. Here's the cold, hard truth. As much as the Liberty might want Sabally, and as much as she might want them, sometimes the numbers just don't add up. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You can try, but something's gotta give. Forget about New York for a second. There's a storm brewing in Indiana, and it's about to shake up the entire WNBA. The Fever have a war chest of a little over $650,000 in cap space to spend this off-season. But what's their master plan? And who's on their shopping list? This time it's very obvious they need depth, they need defense, and they're trying to win right now. They cannot really bridge things any longer. Let's talk about the Fever's front office shakeup. They've brought in some serious firepower. Stephanie White, the Indiana legend, and a former Fever player, coach, and WNBA Coach of the Year, is now at the helm. This isn't just any coach. We're talking about a championship caliber leader who knows how to build a winning team. But that's not all. Kelly Krauskopf is back as team president, and they've snagged Amber Cox as general manager. This trio isn't here to play games. They're here to win championships. The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 2012. Now, picture this. Caitlin Clark, the scoring and passing machine, teaming up with the Lee of Boston, the inside powerhouse. Add in Kelsey Mitchell's scoring and veteran savvy, and Lexi Hull's shooting. That's a core that could make some serious noise. But the Fever aren't satisfied. They're hungry for more. Here's where it gets interesting. The Fever have 4 key priorities this offseason. Are you ready for this? First up, they're going all in to re-sign Kelsey Mitchell. No surprise there. She's a cornerstone of this franchise. But it's the next 3 priorities that have got everyone buzzing. Priority number 2, beefing up the forward position. They're not just looking for any forward. They want length, they want defense, and they want someone who can score when needed. Sound like anyone we know? Building quality depth is going to be important. When you have a core 3, like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well. Third on the list, versatile wings who can score and defend. The Fever want to surround Clark and Mitchell with firepower. They're building an offensive juggernaut that can also lock down on defense. And finally, they're in the market for a backup guard, someone who can keep the offense humming when Clark or Mitchell need a breather. This is about depth, folks. Championship-level depth. Now, let's connect the dots. A versatile forward who can score, defend, and provide length. A player who could perfectly complement their Fab Four. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Satou Sabally. That's right. The Fever's off-season priorities read like a Satou Sabally job description. And with that cap space, they've got the cash to make it happen. The Fever aren't just throwing money around. They're building something special. Something that could last. Imagine Sabally joining forces with Clark, Boston, Mitchell, and Hull. That's not just a team. That's a potential dynasty in the making. We are at a point where we have an attractive group. We have a great organization. We can attract a few free agents to come here and bolster and keep us on the path that we're on. And get this, the Fever's management isn't being shy about their intentions. They've made it clear they're taking an aggressive approach to free agency. They're not just looking to make the playoffs. They're aiming for the championship, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So how will this exactly happen? A few years ago, Indiana wasn't exactly the first place that comes to mind when you think of WNBA free agent destinations, right? But now, the Fever have everything Satou Sabally could want. They've got the money, enough to offer both Kelsey Mitchell and Sabally a max contract, more than what New York can offer, and still have some change left over to sign key veterans. They've got the need, a versatile forward who can score from anywhere on the court and defend multiple positions. That's Sabally to a T, allowing her a big enough role in the team. And they've got something no other team in the league has. Caitlin Clark, are you in a position where you can add some pieces? Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position, and I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her. Indiana isn't just offering Sabally a paycheck. They're offering her a chance to be part of something special, a starting role on a team that's on the rise, a chance to be the missing piece that turns a good team into a great one. And most importantly, a chance to play alongside a once-in-a-generation talent. With Indiana, you get the 8th pick for Satou, and you probably at the 8th Nalissa Smith, and either a 2026 first or Braceburger. Picture this, Sabally's versatility paired with Clark's otherworldly passing ability. It's not just a good fit, it's a match made in basketball heaven. Sabally's been shooting lights out from beyond the arc, 40.6% from three-point range, over the last 2 seasons. Now imagine those shots coming off perfect passes from Clark. That's not just an offense. That's a nightmare for opposing defenses. But don't just take my word for it. Sabally's been dropping some hints herself. She's been liking posts from fans about joining the Fever. And let's talk about that fit for a second. The Fever aren't just offering Sabally a team. They're offering her a role in a potentially historic lineup. Sabally's scoring and versatility. Clark's playmaking. Aaliyah Boston dominating the paint. Kelsey Mitchell's sharpshooting. Lexi Hull's hustle. That's not just a starting 5. That's a group that could dominate the league for years to come. If this is a place where players can come and get better and be surrounded by an organization that supports you, where they're going to have everything they need to be successful. But here's where it gets really interesting. Adding Sabally to this mix doesn't just make the Fever better. It transforms them. We're talking about going from a playoff hopeful to a serious championship contender. The experts are saying it, and the numbers back it up. Sabally's ability to score, defend, and stretch the floor is exactly what this Fever team needs to take the next step. So here's the bottom line. The Indiana Fever aren't just a good option for Satou Sabally. They might be the best option. For her career, for her game, for her legacy. It's a chance to be the final piece of a puzzle that could reshape the WNBA landscape, a chance to turn Indiana into instant champions, a chance to create something truly special. That's what I love doing. That's what I did all those years, was, finding ways to add another player to our roster that's going to impact us and help us get better. So picture this. Sabally in Indiana. That's not just a roster move. It's a seismic shift that could birth the next great dynasty in women's basketball. But here's where it gets really interesting. Sabally's choice could be the domino that sets off a chain reaction across the league. Are you ready for this? Her signing with the Fever wouldn't just transform them into contenders. It could redefine how teams approach free agency and roster building for years to come. The ball's in Sabally's court now, and the whole basketball world is holding its breath. This isn't just about one player's future.